National League rivalry that dates back to 1892 and two teams that have been battling here at Wrigley Field since 1916. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. And yes, it is game two of a day-night doubleheader. Earlier this afternoon, the red-hot Matt Carpenter homered for the fifth consecutive game. That tied the early contest in the third inning, but the National League RBI leader Javier Baez knocked in two, the All-Star with the go-ahead knock in the fifth inning, and the Cubs would pull away late against the Cardinals bullpen, 7-2 the final. So the Cubs have taken two of the first three in this five-game series as we update the National League Central standings. The Cubs 3.5 games ahead of Milwaukee. The Brewers are hosting the Dodgers tonight. Cardinals 8.5 out. They're also 5 back and currently in sixth in the wild card chase. And great to have you with us from the booth alongside Tom Verducci. I'm Len Casper. Ken Rosenthal is with us tonight as well. Matt Carpenter is not in the game two lineup, so the Cardinals are going to have to rely on a bunch of other guys. And Tom, they brought in Marcell Ozuna to really anchor the middle of the order, and they need a big second half from him.
Well, there's no question, because Ozuna was the big acquisition in the offseason. They needed a big bat, hit 37 home runs last year for the Marlins, but the power, Len, has just not been there. Just 10 home runs, none in the last 35 days. And as you said, his bat even more important in this game because no Matt Carpenter and no Yadier Molina in the St. Louis lineup.
The Cubs offense has been rolling really all season long, but lately with a very unlikely leadoff hitter.
Anthony Rizzo, just your average, ordinary 240-pound table setter. 6 games ago, Cubs manager Joe Maddon put Rizzo in the leadoff spot to jumpstart him. Well, guess what? Since then, the Cubs are 5-1, and Rizzo has been on base 17 times. It was thought to be just a temporary move, but hey, it's working. They might as well stay with it.
Interesting starting pitching matchup tonight. John Gant, a right-hander for the Cardinals, Mike Montgomery for the Cubs. Both guys are in the rotation due to injuries in their respective rotations. We are here in Chicago, and one of sports' great rivalries resumes. The Stars are out at Wrigley Field. Baseball Night in America on Fox is next. These two teams now match up 19 times per season. Cardinals and Cubs here at Wrigley Field. This is game 12 here in 2018 and game 4 of a 5-game series here this weekend due to the makeup game played earlier today. The weather, that has been a question here the last couple of days. No delays so far in the series. 72 degrees, a bit on the cool side. Wind blowing in from left, currently at 13 miles an hour, and it had an impact on game 1 earlier today. Cardinals are 2-2 since Mike Shildt was named the Cardinals interim manager 1 week ago today, taking over for Mike Matheny. And let's check out the Cardinals lineup. Written out by Mike Shildt. Harrison Bader is going to lead off in right. Jose Martinez getting what now has become a rare start at first for Matt Carpenter. DeYoung, Ozuna, Pham, and Garcia in the middle. Jairo Munoz gets the start at third. Francisco Pena spelling Yadier Molina, and the pitcher John Gant batting ninth as you get a look at the big left-hander Mike Montgomery.
He's really taken advantage of this opportunity in the rotation. Those are his numbers as a starter, with Yu Darvish on the disabled list.
So start number 10 for him. And Bader will lead it off. The first pitch is taken for a strike, and we're underway. Montgomery coming back, and Bader taps one foul on the ground toward third.
Well, that's a good example of a very good curveball that Montgomery has. Curveball and changeup are excellent. So actually, we'll get to the scouting report on Bard, his counterpart tonight. But you're going to see when he's on a lot of balls on the ground, especially to the left side.
Ground ball toward the middle. It's surrounded by Baez, and the throw to first is late. That's an infield hit for Harrison Bader. Cardinals have had a pretty good series offensively. In fact, it has been a good overall offensive series for both teams. 9-6 Cubs Thursday, 18-5 Cardinals yesterday, and then 7-2 for the home team earlier today. The Cardinals only had 2 hits, but they had a lot of base runners, as Tyler Chatwood, the Cubs starter, walked 6. He only gave up 1 run on the Matt Carpenter home run. So here's Jose Martinez. And the first pitch by Montgomery's hit on the ground into right. Bader on his way to third, and the Cardinals have him at the corners to start the game without Matt Carpenter.
So one thing to look for with Montgomery, Len, as much as I love his secondary stuff, and not that that ball was smoke, but his fastball gets hit. Hitters are well over 300 on his fastballs, well below 200 on his breaking stuff. I'm a bigger fan of Mike throwing more of his off-speed stuff. He'll be over 50% fastballs. As long as he commands that sinker, he's okay. And anything up in the zone, look out.
Now the shortstop, Paul DeYoung, who earlier this season missed 45 games with a broken left hand. His 9th game back, and he fouls it away. We asked Mike Shildt about Matt Carpenter not being in the lineup tonight, and he said that conversation between manager and player happened a couple days ago as they planned out this series. That ball pulled foul to left, out of play.
Yeah, but a couple of things happened since the last 2 days, or a lot of
What,
hits
5
for
home
Matt
runs?
Carpenter. I mean, he's in my lineup. You know, plans are great, but I mean, that's as hot as a hitter can be. And if I'm his manager, I'm not going to be the one to cool him off. I'll let the other team try to do it.
There's the 0-2, and DeYoung pulls it to left. Bader back to tag at third. Kyle Schwarber makes the catch. The throw to the plate is late and off the money, and the Cardinals get the early lead.
Harrison Bader starts it with a soft infield hit, but he runs so well. No chance of getting him. Martinez taking advantage of the hole on the right side, and it's easily going to get Bader to third. Bader, one of the really faster runners in the game, gives you a completely different look than Matt Carpenter in leadoff spot. And this, even though Schwarber has thrown the ball very well this year, no shot at getting Bader.
Mike Montgomery's first inning ERA at 5 going into tonight. Here's Ozuna. We talked about him in the open. He put up MVP type numbers last year with Miami, acquired by the Cardinals in the offseason. It's been a struggle at times, and he's not the only one in this Cardinal lineup. That ball will land in left for a base hit. Cardinals have 3 hits here in the first 4 batters.
This is a changeup right here from Montgomery. You see where the target is? Look at the location. Good hitters will take advantage of that. Middle changeup.
I'll bring up Tommy Pham, who had been hitting 8th, but earlier today moved up to the 5th spot in the order, and that's where he is again tonight, because he's 8 out of 13 over his last 4 games.
Oh, has he had a streaky season or what? Well over 300 in April. The next 2 months, each below 200, and now bouncing back again in July. Already one of the 6 mound visits allowed. Contreras going to take one right there with Montgomery. That looked to me like it, just to review the sequence here with the runner on second base for the first time.
Cardinals lead 1-0 on the DeYoung sac fly. 2 on, 1 out. And low and in on a curveball from Montgomery. On paper, this Cardinal lineup is very deep, but a lot of guys who've had good track records not putting up the kinds of numbers they had hoped. Dexter Fowler, who's on the bench tonight, very tough year. Ground ball to Rizzo. They get 1. Montgomery over covering. Little stumble, but he did get the bag. And that'll be a double play. The Cardinals will want to make sure, as they'll check with their video room. But it looks like a double play. Let's see.
There's a bag there somewhere. Where is it? Just got it in time.
Joe Maddon's lineup And the Cubs have been basically at the top of the National League in most of the major categories throughout this season. Rizzo leading off, as we mentioned. Chris Bryant did not start game one recently on the DL, so resting his left shoulder. Hayward, the former Cardinals, put together a really nice year this year. The All-Stars, Baez and Contreras. Kyle Schwarber hit 55 homers in the Derby, finished as the runner-up. Almora among the league leaders in batting average. Addison Russell hitting 8th ahead of the pitcher Montgomery. And here is Rizzo against right-hander John Gant. He's in their rotation because Michael Wacha is on the DL.
A little bit analogous to Montgomery, a guy who can both relieve and pitch in rotation. His first start since July the 6th. You'll notice his unusual start to his delivery there. He's got, I guess you'd call it a false step. It looks like he's starting his delivery, but he's not quite ready. I call it when you get gum stuck on the bottom of your shoe, right? You just try to get it off without bending over. Can I get rid of it? Nope, go ahead.
Well described. That's a fair ball, and Rizzo is on again to lead off a ball game. He has now reached base to lead off the first inning in 6 consecutive games.
I'm going to start calling him Ricky Rizzo, or Ricky Henderson. Automatic offense at the top of the lineup. It's the curveball there from Gant. Sneaks it just inside the line. You know, I asked Joe Madden if because he loves to tinker with lineups, but a lot of times he runs it by his players, especially a veteran like Anthony Rizzo. He gave him a heads up. He said, no, this time I just wanted to get him going. Surprise him, let him relax. Boy, has that worked out.
Bryant takes ball one. Well, you get to the point where if you're scoring a lot of runs as a team and Rizzo continues to do well, what's the adage? If it ain't broke.
I'm definitely down with that. The only thing I might consider is batting the pitcher 8. So there's another position hitter in front of Anthony when it turns over.
Bryant with a line drive caught by Munoz. The leap and the grab for the first out. That'll bring up Jason Hayward.
Third base is generally a step and a dive. That was a step and a jump. Here's the guy that's changed the lineup for me, Len. Jason Hayward. You know, hitting Anthony at the top, you can do that because you've got this guy now in the 3-hole, producing like a 3-hole hitter.
His first 2 seasons with the Cubs, subpar for sure offensively, but this year when you look at his rate stats, basically the guy they signed for that 8-year contract. And we know how good he is defensively. Not a big lead by Rizzo, and the pitch by Gant. 1 ball, no strikes.
There he goes, since he came off the DL with the concussion. And that was a case where blessing in disguise, because it allowed him to step away from the struggles that he had, work on some things mechanically. We'll talk about those later.
A bigger edge by Rizzo. Swing and a miss by Hayward. What was that Vulcan changeup you talked about?
Vulcan changeup. What is that? It's got something to do with Star Trek. It's the ball is positioned between the middle finger and the ring finger, rather than the middle finger and the index finger. So the Vulcan sign. Remember Eric Gagne?
Very well.
One of the best Vulcan changeups.
This is Gant's 3rd major league stint this season. It's his 7th start and his 13th appearance. 2nd career start against the Cubs. The other one was with the Atlanta Braves at Turner Field 2 seasons ago. Pitch is high. It's 2-1. The Cardinals, Tom, have not had good luck in terms of health with their rotation. And today they just put Carlos Martinez on the DL. Adam Wainwright is out. Alex Reyes came back very briefly, but he's done for the year with the lat injury. We referenced Waka, but they're among the major league leaders in rotation earned run average.
Yeah, Michael Waka was throwing the ball so well when he went down with the oblique injury. We all know those take a very long time to come back from.
Cardinals lead 1-0, bottom of the first. Gantz 3-1. There's a strike. Hayward thought it was ball 4. Will Little, the home plate umpire tonight.
Jason got about halfway down the line at first base. He was sure that pitch was below the bottom of the strike zone. Two-seam sinker, borderline, looked a little low. And right here, as many ground balls as Jason Hayward hits, I would start Anthony Rizzo at first base with the full count.
Gant has a sign from Pena. Long pause. Rizzo is running, and Hayward bounces foul. Well, we have a second. Tom, let's get your 4 keys to the game.
The Cardinals call it good, clean fun. Just play a clean baseball game, because defense and base running have been 2 of their bugaboos. How's this for a movie review? Baffo, Brizzo, bromance. At the top of the order there, Rizzo and Bryant. They've been going good, as they have been lately. This is a dynamite offensive team.
Rizzo goes again on a 3-2. Hit in the air pretty well out into left center, but it'll be run down by Pham. Rizzo will head back to first. And that's out number 2. You should be able to pitch to that part of the park tonight with the wind coming in out of the north.
Yeah, I'm not sure John Gant did that intentionally, leaving the changeup up like that, but you're right. That ball really didn't carry. I thought he hit it pretty well.
Now, most pitchers don't want to give in no matter the conditions, but I guess it's when push comes to shove. You want to make them try to beat you, right? You don't want to walk the park on a night like this.
Yeah, and for me, Gant's changeup is so good. It's almost like a pitch he can use like a fastball in fastball counts. 3-2, 2-0. You'll see it.
First time All-Star Javier Baez singled on the first pitch he saw on Tuesday night.
Nothing new there, right?
Nope.
Swings at the first pitch more than anybody in baseball. It doesn't matter where it is, what it is. He comes out of the gate swinging.
That is a strike. Didn't swing that time. It's 0-1. He's got 74 knocked in. That leads the National League. And he is batting cleanup tonight.
The Cubs are trying to figure out what little strike zone is. You call the ball down, now you call the ball up. Usually it's one or the other.
Rizzo takes off. Baez a one-hopper right at Paul DeYoung. Not a good throw. Martinez digs it out. The Cubs hit it right on the button 3 different times in the first, but they do not score. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Podcast is sponsored by Budweiser. Take some out to the ball game. Beautiful 2016 World Series ring. It's the first of its kind with a Cubs logo on it. Unless you can find a ring from the early 20th century. Strike on Greg Garcia, 1-0 St. Louis.
I don't think they had rings back then.
Nope.
Had some watches. No rings.
Garcia shows bunt and was able to pull back in time. He homered in the ballgame yesterday off Tommy La Stella as Joe Madden went to a position player to pitch in the 6th inning. He used 3 to finish the game to save his bullpen with 2 games today and another tomorrow.
I've never seen that before. 3 position players pitching in the same game.
Recently, Torey Lovello of the Diamondbacks used Daniel Descalso in the 4th inning in Colorado. But that's the irony. You have more bullpen arms than ever and probably more position players than ever pitching, because if you're down 10 or 11 runs late, you don't want to waste those bullets.
Yeah, and you use those guys all the time. I covered a postseason game where the position player was used to pitch. Cliff Pennington, Toronto Blue Jays, in the postseason.
Garcia takes a called third. First strikeout for either pitcher. Cubs' first team since the 1979 Milwaukee Brewers to use 3 position players to pitch in a game. I believe Sal Bando, Buck Martinez, and Jim Gantner. Victor Caratini. Ian Happ, I believe, was the only Cub pitcher, I say that in air quotes, to not give up a run yesterday.
Yeah, he was proud that he also threw the hardest. He had the highest velo last night, or yesterday, out of the position players.
Jairo Munoz takes ball 1. He comes in with an 8-game hitting streak. Playing third base tonight. He filled in at short while Paul DeYoung was on the DL. This is his true rookie season. The pitch is off the outside corner, 2-0.
These, to me, are the counts where Montgomery has to be careful. Fastball counts, and his sinker has to be expertly located. He's trying to go in here with it. You know, he doesn't have the velo, or really even the movement for me, to get swing and miss or to get off the barrel on fastball counts. That's why getting ahead is so important for any pitcher, especially for Mike Montgomery.
This is 3-0, and that is ball 4. In the first inning, Montgomery threw 11 pitches. The Cardinals swung at 8 of those. He has thrown 10 here in the second and has not gotten a swing. Francisco Pena, the catcher, for Yadier Molina tonight. Son of former longtime big league catcher and Royals manager Tony Sr. And Tony Jr., former big league shortstop turned minor league pitcher. Molina had
Rare picture of Yachty there without, you know, the game jersey on, because he's not starting. I'm so used to seeing him in the starting lineup. Look at that. He's caught more games with one team than any catcher all time.
Cub fans are certainly okay with him being on the bench. He is a career .300 hitter against Cubs pitching.
It's a pretty good bench Mike Schilt has over there. Carpenter and Molina left and right.
One to Pena, swing and a miss.
That's the good changeup from Montgomery. We're seeing 2 of the best changeups in baseball tonight, if you just want to go by pure batting average against. Gant number 1, Montgomery number 2. Right here, the breaking ball. Try to get the rollover ground ball.
That one hit hard in the left. Munoz will stop at second. So the Cardinals threatening again, this time at the bottom of the order. And Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, will talk it over with the pitcher.
Yeah, here's the breaking ball, curveball. See the index finger off the baseball, spin it with the middle finger. But this is just kind of a hanger up there. That's a pitch designed to get the rollover, but it has to be lower. Ideally, you get the double play, have the pitcher lead off the next inning. And instead, Gant is here. I wouldn't call it a bunt situation. The Cubs are defending it. And I'm not a big fan of getting run to the third with 2 outs. I'd let the pitcher take a hack right here.
Takes a strike on a curveball. 0 for 23 in his career, but only 5 strikeouts. Cardinals have doubled their hit total from game 1. They had 2. They've got to double that so far tonight.
Now this is obviously extremely difficult for Gant. Now Oquendo's going to talk to him. Listen, if he's charging in like that, you have the option to bring the bat back and slash it. Anthony Rizzo is in so far, he could actually field the ball on the third base side of the mound and get the force play at third.
Well, there's a foul ball. Now, Rizzo's about 25 feet from home plate when that ball gets into the hitting area.
I mean, look at this. Is little league distance right here. Gant just doesn't look comfortable with a bat in his hands.
And it looked like he was actually trying to aim the ball that direction.
He's just trying to find the baseball. Kids, close your eyes right now in terms of technique.
It's bunted foul.
Yeah, it's
For
no
strike
reason for
3.
that. You know, you're a pitcher. You're in the National League. You can work on it. If you watch, we'll take a look here. The bat will be way behind the plate. He doesn't give himself any chance to hit the ball. You have to bunt the ball out in front of you, and the angle of the barrel of the bat is pointing towards the front for the Cardinals dugout. It's impossible to get this ball in fair territory.
Also on the play, Munoz took off for third. He's trying to maybe steal third. And Pena did not go from first. Feels like somebody might have missed a sign somewhere. Now Bader led off the game with an infield hit and scored on the DeYoung sac fly. Runners go, and Contreras will hold on to it. Double steal.
A nice job by both runners. Pena paying attention to the lead runner, and Munoz is, you see that? He had timed Montgomery. Montgomery had enough sequence there of pitches where it was one look and go. And Munoz took off even before Montgomery began the delivery.
1-1 to Bader. Bader, the Gator, he went to the University of Florida, 24 years old. How about both Cardinal catchers have a stolen base in the day-night doubleheader? Molina stole a bag in game 1.
A little bit surprised Addison Russell is playing so deep at shortstop. He's actually on the grass. And Bader can fly.
A high deep drive out in the left center, and that ball is caught. The wind kept it in. Bader just looking up toward the sky, asking Mother Nature, why me? That is a home run on just about any other night except tonight.
And he thought it was gone off the bat. He's like, I got myself a 3-run homer. Not so fast.
1-0. Chevy, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Is Gallagher Way, just outside Wrigley Field, off to the west, and off Clark Street, as Wilson Contreras, the all-star, with a base hit, will lead off the Cubs' second inning.
Yeah, I expect to see a lot of this today. Gant throws 70% fastballs on first pitches. And the Cubs lineup, they're not a patient bunch. They will hunt fastballs early as well as anybody, especially that guy right there.
Contreras homered on the first pitch he saw in the All-Star game. And now it's Kyle Schwarber. He made a name for himself the night before in the home run derby. He battled Bryce Harper for the final swing. How about you hit 55 home runs and you don't win it?
Thanks for playing. It's a great show, though, wasn't it?
It was, and I thought he was very gracious, as the hometown fans all wanted Harper to win, and I think a lot of the television audience did too. And Schwarber handled it very well.
Didn't he put up that big number in that last round to really make Harper earn it? It's a great moment. Bryce hitting 9 home runs in the last minute on the clock to tie him.
One ball, one strike. Gant will keep an eye on Contreras. He runs pretty well. Not just for a catcher, he simply runs well. Now back upstairs.
Kyle had a fastball right there. Hitters will let you know when they've had a pitch they think they should have handled. That's his hot zone right there. That ball leaked over the plate just a little more than Gant wanted. Two strikes. This is where Gant loves the Vulcan changeup.
Gant has allowed 3 home runs this year, all to left-handed hitters. Schwarber always a threat. 2-strike swing as he stays alive.
You can see, I mean, why hitters have a tough time batting 130 against that changeup. It's not just the fact it's coming in about 11 miles an hour slower. It's the drop on that pitch and the great arm speed. Back in with the two-seamer.
Another foul. The Cubs continue their homestand tomorrow with the series finale against the Cardinals, followed by a 4-game set with the D-backs. Visit Cubs.com now to see Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez here at Wrigley. For the next 11 days, that was starting Thursday, 8 games between the Cubs and the Cardinals. Both teams would say all the games are important, but this week-and-a-half stretch, is it more important for St. Louis?
Absolutely. Yep. You know, the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, said it best. We're straddling the fence right now. And after this week and a half, I don't know which side they fall on.
Contreras fake towards second, and Schwarber dribbles it foul up along first. They're never going to go into sell-it-all mode, but maybe tweaks?
Maybe. You know, I know there's been a lot of talk about Jose Martinez possibly moving him. He seems more suited to the American League, being a bat-first player. He's lost some playing time here in the last week since Mike Schilt took over.
Just got away from Martinez, but Contreras will hold. Ken Rosenthal is with us tonight. Hi, Ken.
Len, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good. Talking about the Cardinals, really, if they become a seller, my question would be, who exactly would they sell? They don't have many potential free agents. Bud Norris, who's had a pretty good year. Greg Holland, who has not. Tom mentioned Jose Martinez. Good call, but if you're an American League team and you're a contender right now, none of those clubs need a DH. So with Carlos Martinez on the DL, I can't see them doing anything that would really dramatically change the makeup of their club. What they could do, Len, is just what you said. Tweak a little bit here and there. Maybe get more left-handed with the offense. That's something where they're a little bit imbalanced right now.
Thank you, Ken. Love the tie tonight. 2-2, 5 fouls for Schwarber in this sequence. Make it 6. And we'll talk more later about Addison Russell, who's the Cubs shortstop. But what tends to happen is when a guy struggles, and Carlos Martinez struggled when he came off the DL, he just went back on. Fans seem more into that. Well, you could trade him for something. That's the last time you would trade a guy, is when he's struggling.
Exactly. The value's down, and you know, Carlos has a huge upside, very good contract, controllable pitcher. Don't see that happening.
The minute you trade a guy like that, you're trying to reacquire the same guy.
Should have watched the way Martinez holds Contreras on at first base. It's almost like he's blocking the base without the ball. He's forcing Contreras to go back to the far end of the bag, where he'll get that right leg and stick it right in the running lane. And the Angels are another team that loves to do this.
2-2 hit in the air out of the deep left. Ozuna makes a nice grab on the warning track. A late adjustment by Ozuna. That ball really took off the bat of Kyle Schwarber.
He called it late adjustment. I think his ball carried a little more than he expected, so the angle is not going to be perfect to the ball, but the recovery, excellent. Harris doing the right thing, going as far as you can until you can get back.
Ozuna won a Gold Glove last year. There's Albert Almora. Started the day third in the National League in batting average, and he takes a strike.
This guy can hit anybody's fastball. 376 against fastballs makes him one of the best in the big leagues. Expect Gant to stay mostly soft here, show him fastballs away, and a double up on the breaking ball to start out.
High in the air. And Pham back. Now the wind grabs a hold of it. And he probably came in about 20 feet to make that catch. That is out number 2. It's one of the rare balls that has not been hit hard by the Cubs tonight. They've hit most hard balls at people.
Yeah, not hit hard, but it gives you an indication of the wind tonight. And man, you better crush it if you have any hopes of getting it out to left field and center field.
Now Addison Russell, who's put together quietly a really nice offensive season as he bounces one to second, handled by Garcia, and that's it for the Cubs. So they waste the leadoff single and trail the Cardinals 1-0 after 2. North of the border to Toronto as some of the biggest names in basketball battle in this week's 3-on-3 contests. Games begin at 8 p.m. Eastern on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Jose Martinez takes ball one. He singled in the first. 1-0 St. Louis. Location there from Montgomery, 1-1. Mike is from Southern California.
Went to high school with Trevor Bauer. It's also the same high school.
William S. Hart High School in Santa Clarita. That has been a baseball factory.
Just the pitchers: Tyler Glasnow, Bob Walk, Bauer, James Shields. William S. Hart High School. Do you know who William Kevin S. Hart was? I thought it was like some Revolutionary War general, some vice president of agriculture, politician. You know what he was?
Tell us.
He was a silent film star. He was a cowboy. He was in westerns. He was like the most popular guy. We're talking like 1910s, 1920s.
Well, that's a perfect name for a high school in Southern California.
Have you heard of a high school named after a silent movie star?
I have now. Martinez out into right center. And it'll be caught by Jason Hayward for out number 1. So Mike Schilt taking over last weekend for Mike Matheny, who was fired one day before the All-Star break. 47-46 was the Cardinal record. 15th season in their organization. 8 seasons as a minor league manager. Never played pro ball. He did play in college. We had a nice chat with him before the game today. Their coaching staff has changed a bit as well. New hitting coaches in the mix. And you talk about rarities, an in-season managerial change for the Cardinals. It's the first time they have done that since 1995. A lot of stability in that position.
And only the second time since 1980. Joe Torre was the one in 1995 coming off the strike. You saw that very short list of guys who never were in pro ball as a player, not just the big leagues. No minor league experience as well. Dave Tremblay was the last one, Baltimore Orioles. None of the previous ones finished with a winning record.
Young fouls back. So you look at Mike Matheny's overall record. He won 591, lost 473. Was the first manager to lead his team to the postseason in his first 4 seasons, but out of the playoff mix the last couple of years as DeYoung singles the other way. Even though they were a game over 500, they're not used to being in the position they're in, and that is looking up at 2 teams above them in the division.
Yeah, and stagnant is the word I would use with the Cardinals. Again, we talked about their defense, their base running, some of the things that, you know, a function of personnel, sometimes a function just of focus, but hasn't been up to par. Managers pay the price for those kinds of things. And this guy, too. I mean, let's face it. They brought this guy in to be an impact bat in the middle of the order, something they didn't have last year. Well, guess what? They still don't have it, even with Ozuna on the roster.
So the word from the Cardinals is Schilt, who is the interim manager, will finish the season managing the club, and they'll do all their due diligence as they look ahead in the offseason to 2019. So it's an audition for him, and there'll be a lot of people out there who would love nothing more than to be the St. Louis Cardinals manager.
Well, he's earned it. I mean, he's won championships in the minor leagues. Goes way back with John Mozeliak. Knows a lot of these players. They came up through the system under Mike Schilt. So this is not foreign to him, the personnel here at all.
Ozuna bounces foul. Go ahead, Ken.
Then Mike Schilt is a total rags to riches baseball story. His mother, Liv, worked for the Orioles' former AA affiliate in Charlotte. Started bringing him to the ballpark when he was 10 years old. First job he had was fetching foul balls, returning them for money. Then from there, well, he became a bat boy, a clubhouse attendant, a scoreboard attendant, basically a jack of all trades. One of his many jobs or tasks was cleaning the players' cleats and shining them. And what he would do, he'd time his routine so it would coincide with that of a budding 19-year-old star's routine. That star was Cal Ripken Jr.
Ozuna swings and misses. 1 and 2. That's a great story. Find
How about that number?
yeah, number 8. That's what Cal wore in the big leagues. He wore 12. He was at AA. Mike told us he wore 8 in Little League. So it made sense to honor Cal Ripken and wear that number 8. Russell makes the catch. 2 outs. If he were with the Yankees, all the single digits would be gone.
You just take what they give you when you get to New York.
Yes.
There's no choosing.
That brings up Tommy Pham, who bounced into a double play to end the first inning. 1-0 Cardinals here in the third. Fouled away. I will tell you, one guy who appreciates the journey of Mike Shildt is Joe Madden. You hear the term celebrity manager occasionally, and I think in some casual baseball circles, because Joe has a big profile, he's been called that. He spent decades in the minor leagues in the Angels system.
You talk about paying your dues. Both of those men paid their dues and then some. Joe, another guy with many different jobs throughout the minor leagues. Rover, hitting coach, manager.
One strike on Pham. Third inning. Cardinals got their run in the first. Montgomery keeping a close watch on the runner DeYoung.
Pham is the best changeup hitter on the Cardinals roster. You got a glimpse of it even off the fastball by the way he took that fastball the other way, fouled it off. His balance is so good at the plate. Tough to fool him with the changeup.
He went around. On a curveball, it's 0-2.
This is the best tilt I've seen on the curveball from Montgomery so far.
Big leg kick and the 0-2 and a line shot to the shortstop, Addison Russell, to end the inning. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up. 1-0 Cardinals. Underway here in the Cubs third. Mike Montgomery swings and misses. 2 for 18 this year. 136 lifetime batting average. A bouncer to the second baseman, Greg Garcia. Ken caught up with the Cardinals' new manager, Mike Shildt.
Mike, you took over under surprising, dramatic circumstances. What is the biggest message you've tried to convey to your players?
Really just about getting back to staying present. We've got a lot of things going on, a lot of circumstances taking place clearly, and really just about staying in the moment, stay present, and then just try to be a little more consistent in what you're doing.
You managed 8 seasons in the minors. What is your biggest adjustment as a major league manager?
Still trying to figure out what that looks like as far as difference goes. I mean, clearly bigger stage, more responsibility with media, but effectively the game's the game.
Mike, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you, Ken. Anthony Rizzo 2 for 2. A 1-out single. I think he hit the nail on the head when he said the media, because that is way bigger than anybody thinks when they take that job.
Absolutely. I remember talking to Dave Roberts about that. What was your biggest adjustment first year in Los Angeles? And he said just the time you need to devote to your media responsibilities. Mike Schilt coached high school ball. He coached college ball, was a part-time scout. Minor league coach, minor league manager.
Going in on Chris Bryant.
Cardinals quality control coach, then the third base coach, then the bench coach, and then the manager. Talk about working your way up.
Chris Bryant is 26 years old. Rizzo takes off, and Bryant with a high fly ball out into left center. Pham and Ozuna get together. It'll be the center fielder to make the grab. Just recently joined us. The wind is howling in from left field tonight, so any ball in the air in that part of the ballpark, you have to absolutely crush it. And even if you do, like Harrison Bader did earlier, it still might not get out.
Anthony just assumes the return throw is going to second, and he had to throw it in another gear to get back in time.
So 2 outs, and it's Jason Hayward. Yeah, he caught me unaware too. I didn't see it. But we have the benefit of cameras to catch it.
Yeah.
The players don't. Well, they do, but after the fact. Hayward takes a strike. Comes without a hit. Has been on base tonight. 0 for 7. Gant has not missed a lot of bats. He has let his defense do the work. This is 2018 baseball, Tom, and we're in the 3rd inning. He doesn't have a walk or a strikeout.
Is that allowed? You know, with the wind the way it is, it's also not, it's more like 1988 baseball, and I think we've already seen with Rizzo starting on the fly out there, you may have to play a little old school ball here to start generating some runs instead of waiting for a home run ball. We got some issues here with some flying insects.
Gant and Hayward had a light moment as Jason said, hey man, I can't see. So far only 2 swings and misses by the Cubs against Gant. Big lead by Rizzo. Not running. There's the 3rd swing and miss. Figured that was coming after I mentioned it. And it's 0-2 with Javier Baez on deck.
I figured that Vulcan changeup was coming too. Hayward's been so good against velocity. Fastball hitter. Shows you how good that changeup is. You can throw it down and in to a lefty and get the swing and miss.
Held. Ball made by Ben May down at 3rd.
rangefinder, a little tap on the ground, bounced the breaking ball with 2 strikes. He almost got the chase swing. Did he go? No.
Two ground ball. Garcia's been busy tonight. And we head off to the 4th inning. Packed house at Wrigley Field. Cardinals 1, Cubs nothing. Telecast is sponsored by the LG G7 Thin Q. What's it going to take? And by MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball. Gotta love summer in Chicago, although it's a bit of a cool night, unseasonably so. Here at Wrigley Field, Greg Garcia with a ground ball neatly played by Chris Bryant for the out. Let's send it down to Ken, who chatted earlier with Joe Madden.
Joe, I've always wanted to ask you this. How much does the wind affect the way you manage?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I mean, we might play for a run, possibly that's like really firm coming in. Our guys have gotten better hitting line drives. You've seen that. We're using the whole field right now. You can't rely on the home run, but you can still use the whole field. We play her all the time, so I don't want to influence the guys or make them think any way differently.
All right, Rizzo, 2 for 2 out of the leadoff spot tonight. He's been red hot. How long do you go with him?
Ricky just tried to steal a bag, too. That wasn't a hit and run. I don't know. I mean, he's doing a great job with it. He's having a good time with it. He's helping us. We're scoring a lot of runs. We're winning. I'm going to leave it alone.
Joe, thanks a lot.
Good to see you, buddy.
Always good stuff from Joe Madden. Tom, the Cubs under Joe Madden after the All-Star break, 50-25 in his first year, 50-23 the year they won the World Series, 49-25 last year. They were 2 games under at 5.5 out at the break. They won the division. What's the secret?
It's not a coincidence, Len. I think Joe Torre in New York with the Yankees had a very similar record, a team that would get better over the course of the season. And especially when things don't start so well, certainly last year was a good example of this, no panic whatsoever. And I think the players take their cue from the manager. Start out with talking good personnel, some really good teams.
Munoz bounces to Bryant, who will charge this one, and the throw right on the money. 2 nice plays by Chris Bryant. Now you see, since 2015, Cubs right at the top, so winning 2 out of every 3. And individually, the best record after the break those 3 years. Tito's clubs also those few years gotten off to slow starts and have been better later on. The other thing is his quote bench is made up of guys who basically could play every day.
Exactly. That's rarity in today's game as well. As you know, Joe has 3 team meetings a year. That's it.
Into center. Diving attempt. Almora made the catch. How about the defense from the Cubs here in the 4th inning?
What a play. And Mike Montgomery appreciates that one as much as anybody.
For flipping the switch, sponsored by Boost Mobile. And Albert Almora Jr. leaves his feet as well as any center fielder in the game today.
Seemed like he had it all the way, but maybe not.
1-0 the count on Javier Baez.
You know, it's funny, watching the jump that Almora got there reminds me of a conversation I had with Mike Trout recently. Trout, to me, is better than ever, especially on defense this year. And he actually changed the way he sets up to get a better first step. He used to do it the way that Albert does, where you get into ready position as the pitcher starts the delivery, you stop, and then you react. Well, Mike figured out that I'll get myself ready as the ball comes in the hitting zone.
Line drive the other way, slicing and nabbed by Bader.
So what he's doing is he's taking out that beat in between. Now it's, instead of ready, set, go, it's just ready, go. And Mike believes that's why he's better than ever defensively this year. He's quicker on the first step. When you see great catches, it usually always goes back to the first step.
Yep. We're better at measuring that than ever before with all the StatCast data. As Contreras stands in for the second time.
Let's see if he stays soft first pitch here. He did.
Cardinals got a run in the first. That has been it. Only seen one, 2-3 inning, and that was the top of this fourth, and it was mostly about the Cubs defense than anything else. Mike Montgomery needed a quick pitch inning. 2-1. Mike Schilt would like to get not only quality but quantity out of Gant tonight. The Cardinals bullpen has had issues all year, but has really struggled as of late. They've got an ERA of about 10 over their last 7 games.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how long Gant can take his stuff deep into the game. He's done a great job mixing all of his pitches, using both sides of the plate. Pitch count, not a problem at all at this point. But like a lot of pitchers in today's game, the third time around, the slugging percentage against him goes way up. Sinker in.
Contreras fouls. Gant trying to really grab a foothold in the big leagues. I looked it up. 11 times. He's only 25, but 11 times he has been called up from the minor leagues with Atlanta and now St. Louis. He started, he's relieved, so he has bounced around a lot. And filling in currently for Michael Wacha in their rotation.
Originally a 21st round pick for the New York Mets. Not a lot of those guys get here at all.
3-2 on the way. It's low. And Contreras draws the walk. The first one issued by Gant.
This was the scouting report I had. It looks like he's got gum on the shoe right there, right? Let me get it off. Get off the bottom of my shoe. And that's something he's done basically his whole career, even in the minor leagues and college. He wasn't even aware that he did that until a teammate pointed out to him, hey, you know what you do with your front leg? You kind of start, stop, go. He said, no, I don't. And he checked it out. Yes, he does. So it's nothing he does to deceive the hitter. He just does it naturally. But I think it does throw some deception into it in terms of timing it.
And it's not as drastic as it used to be.
Right.
They tweak the rule. You cannot come to a quote complete stop and then start again. You have to kind of always be moving some body part in your delivery.
Obviously, he won't do that out of the stretch, but we've seen he's a little slow to the plate. Paying a lot of attention here to Contreras. He's a guy you can run on. And one thing the Cardinals really don't do well is throw people out. Now, people don't run on them a lot. But the success rate very high against the Cardinal staff.
Big swing by Schwarber, and he fouls it off. So the Cubs 0 for 8 with runners on base, but they have yet to put a guy at second base. The Cubs are 1 game over 500 when the opposition scores first. That is not easy to do. High in the air out into right center. It might carry a little bit better. No, Wynn's going to knock that one down 2, and it's caught by Pham. Contreras tagging, and he'll make it into second base. So they do get a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here in the 4th inning.
That was a great play by Contreras, and you see that Pham right there with the contact with Bader. His lens might have loosened here. You know, that's costly miscommunication, that 90 feet there, because if Bader catches the ball, Contreras does not tag. but not just the contact, but Pham working away from Bader. He's not in position to make a throw to second base. And I know the center fielder has right of way, but that's a ball that should be caught by Bader. Heads up play by Wilson Contreras.
So the batter is Almora with the tying run now at second. Swing and a miss by Almora. Got to pay off the meetings. Joe says 3.
Yeah, he's got 3. He's got 1 in spring training, right? The big one. That's always hilarious. And then he has one right before the All-Star break. And this year it was kind of similar theme he hit on in spring training about, hey, we know there's a lot of analytics in the game, but it's about playing good baseball. It's about being yourself. And his last meeting is his favorite meeting because that's the one right before the postseason starts.
The Cubs have not missed the playoffs since Joe took over as manager. And they currently have the best record in the National League.
He once told me back in the day, managing the Rays, he did have meetings throughout the season. Once in a while, obviously you call a team meeting, it means things aren't going well, right? He said, I would never call a meeting when we were playing at home. I had never heard that before. I said, why would that be? And he said, your home clubhouse, you spend so much time there, it's like your home. And to have the negativity of a meeting poisons the room. I don't want that negative vibe in my home clubhouse. So if I did have a meeting, it was always on the road. Makes sense, right?
Yep.
The Zen of Joe.
2-1 on Almora. Gant has worked with traffic all night. That pitch is off the inside. Russell on deck.
And he has stayed soft on Almora all night. As tempting as it would be to try to slip a sinker past Almora right now, there's no way I'm doing it. Not in this count. Stay soft, change up breaking ball, and use that open base to your advantage. Do not give in.
A 3-1 pitch, and he walked him.
I mean, the guy's hitting 376 off fastballs. You don't need to test it this deep into a season.
He's one of the best in the business, Mike Maddox, first year with St. Louis. Those guys seem to be throwing the fastball less frequently than in the past.
They are. You see Mike always puts his hand on the pitcher when he comes out. He likes to feel, if he can, the pulse. But yeah, the Cardinals as an organization have been one of the most sinker-heavy organizations in baseball. And as much as velocity has gone up in today's game, actually the percentage of fastballs has gone down. And the Cardinals have been on board with that. They're traditionally a top 5 fastball team. They're middle of the pack now.
So it's Russell, the 8 hitter, and 2 men on. Contreras and Almora both walking here in the 4th. A strike.
You know, with that wind blowing in, it actually affords the outfielders the opportunity to play in a little more. And looking at Tommy Pham in center field, usually 2-out base hit, you don't have much of a shot at a runner at second, especially one who runs as well as Contreras. And he can buy a couple of extra steps in with that wind.
Oh, and 2 to Russell. Still just 24 years old. And already in his 4th Major League season, nearing his 500th big league game. Quick look at the runner at second. And the pitch. Tap back to Gant. Lobs to Martinez. It did get there in time. Took a while, and after 4, it's St. Louis 1, Chicago nothing. Will be renewed as Chris Bryant and the Cubs take on the Cardinals in St. Louis. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Mike Montgomery back to work in the 5th inning. It was 1-0 Cards after 3 batters in this game, and that's where we sit here in the 5th. Strike to the pitcher Gant, who struck out on a bunt attempt his first time up. One is way wide. You had some intriguing thoughts recently about shifting and what baseball might want to do to move forward. Thoughts on the DH? That is always a hot button topic, especially with all the interleague play now. Are you keep the DH or have it in both leagues, or keep it separate?
No, I like it separate. I like, it's like flavors of ice cream. If you don't like chocolate, you got vanilla. If you don't like the DH, you got the National League. And throughout the years, Len, the polls have really kind of been split. I'm not saying exactly 50-50, but thereabouts. It's not overwhelming one way or the other. And I know every time a National League or American League pitcher gets hurt in interleague play, it's like, oh, we got to get rid of it. But I'd hate to lose this style of play.
3-2 hit on the ground. Gant running hard to first, and he's out by a step.
Call it. He ran hard enough to force Russell to kind of get rid of it quicker than he wanted to. I'm not sure he had a great grip when he threw this ball, but out of the box, yeah, I like it.
Smelled possibly his first major league hit. Ken Rosenthal, what say you about the DH?
I am in favor of it in both leagues, but in the end, I don't know that Tom's opinion will matter, and I don't know that my opinion will matter. What matters, Tom, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, is if the sport goes to 32 teams and dramatically realigns, that probably will trigger a DH throughout the sport. And that is what seems to be coming. The commissioner has talked often about expansion. And Tom, I just don't know at that point how you don't do it.
Ground ball to the shortstop Russell. Longer throw and 2 outs.
That was a bullet throw. Yeah, but again, I think this is the way the game is meant to be played. I think about the strategy. I think most of the greatest baseball games I've seen in the World Series have been under National League rules. Yeah, I just think we lose a lot. We look at a game today and we talk about how it's a 3 true outcome game, right? Too many walks, strikeouts, home runs. We've lost a lot of strategy already. And we push baseball further away from being chess and closer to checkers if we take National League ball out completely.
Now,
I could live with, let's go with DH in all interleague games. I could live with that.
Right.
But pure National League baseball, I don't want to see it go away.
I don't mean to ride the fence. I agree with you, Tom. I prefer National League style. And what I would say is get rid of the DH and have pitchers bat in every game. However, I agree with Ken in that I feel like that's where the game is going. And what really tipped the scales for me was the added interleague play. When it was, 6 or 7 games a year, it wasn't that big a deal. But now teams play, what, 10, 15 games in interleague play?
And they're spread out. Remember, it used to be a more condensed period. The American League teams could get their pitchers ready for those series. Now, you may American League pitcher bat in May and then maybe in September.
You know what National League team would love the DH? The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. That is so true. I think it's an advantage. I know Madison Bumgarner has talked about that as well.
Do they win the World Series if Kyle Schwarber doesn't come back in DH and go 7 for 17?
No. Having Game 7 worked out to their advantage in the American League Park.
Martinez with a ground ball. Cubs defense has been terrific in this game. Cardinals 2. It's been well played so far. 1-0 Cardinals. Of the 5th inning. Gant and Montgomery, 2 starting pitchers still in there and facing one another here.
gone with both teams twice through the lineup now. With combined 2 strikeouts.
So it's pretty amazing. Only 1 run scored. Mike Montgomery has 1 home run on his resume. That was off R.A. Dickey in Atlanta last July. Will get out of play.
See, that's what I like about National League Baseball. The importance of that number 8 hitter, right? Montgomery's leading off for the 2nd time in the game. Great job by Gant both times to get Russell with 2 outs and put the pitcher up there leading off the next inning.
Well, you know, I'm all about compromise. It probably wouldn't matter, but the way the rule currently is stated in Major League Baseball, you can only DH for the pitcher. What if we just said you can DH for 1 player? So if you're Madison Bumgarner, you can hit DH for the second baseman. If
Good idea.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Ford. Going further so you can. Then a manager will say, I can't DH for my second baseman.
That's pretty cold.
First strikeout for Gant comes here in the 5th inning. Ball 1 on Rizzo. We mentioned the Cubs had 3 position players finish the game on the mound yesterday. Joe Madden relayed to the media after the game that whenever they have a game where it looks like a position player has to pitch, Anthony Rizzo is right in his ear saying, I can do it. So Joe pulled him out of that game yesterday, so he literally couldn't pitch.
No re-entry. How's Ricky doing here?
They need him to do that.
19 times he's been on in 7 games.
Foul strike. It's 1-2.
And it's unusual to see not the overshift on Anthony right here. You know, with 1 out, base is empty. He's swinging for a double right here.
He has really been hurt in terms of his batting average by the pull shift. I was looking at some of the numbers the other day. Brandon Belt, Freddie Freeman have been really good against the shift among left-handed batters in the NL.
Well, it's definitely harmed left-handed batters more than the right-handed. If you look at the splits between shift and no shift, left and right, they're all the same except they're all in the 240, 250 range. Here's the numbers right here. When lefties face a shift, they lose 20 points or more off the batting average. And why is that? Well, obviously on the right-hand side, you're closer to first base. You can flex the defense out deeper, so you're defending more territory than on the left side against right-handed hitters. That's another issue. I think I'd address that before I address the DH.
Yeah, you talked to a bunch of people about the idea of not necessarily banning the shift, but putting some parameters on where the defensive players can stand.
Yeah, 1 foot on the dirt, you know. See right there, Garcia is back on the grass. Young, step on the grass. It's more about defending that rover position, that softball position.
Well, the teams will just shave a little grass off the outfield, put extra dirt in.
Home field advantage. And I know people say, well, just bunt or hit the ball the other way. Do you want to take someone like Bryce Harper and say, son, just shorten up, swing like Tony Gwynn, hit the ball? First of all, it's not that easy to do.
There's a base hit for Rizzo. Ending a terrific at bat on pitch number 8. He's 3 for 3.
I'd love to see more hitters take a 2-strike approach like this guy, shift or no shift. The way he chokes up on the bat, he'll take his legs out of play. Watch how simple everything is. Obviously not trying to do too much at all right there.
has lined to third and fly to center.
I did see Rizzo take off earlier on his steal attempt.
Again, talking with Joe Madden earlier about managing to the conditions. The one thing with the score the way it is and with the wind blowing in, I do think he might be more aggressive on the bases.
Well, I haven't seen Gant use the slide step here. He's got a higher leg kick, throws a high percentage of changeups and curveballs. Anthony's not a great base stealer, but he's a great base runner. So he's looking for pitch, and especially timing the move of Gant.
It was not a slugger's night, at least to this point. 9 hits in the game. They've all been singles. The one run that scored came on a sac fly. Takes off the outside. John Brebbia up in the Cardinal bullpen. A couple of their guys might not be available who pitched earlier today. Luke Gregerson, Mike Myers, a couple of right-handers. The Lions gave up 4 runs. Cub reliever who probably is not available is Jesse Chavez, who got the final 6 outs in a non-save spot earlier today in his Cubs debut. That was a nice under the radar acquisition.
Came in just firing strikes, keeping the ball on the ground. Big pitch right here. He has stayed soft throughout this AB, Chris Bryant.
Hard and foul.
He stayed soft again. Most major league games now, unless you've got your ace out there, pivot right at this junction. 3rd time around the lineup. For Gant, the slugging percentage goes up to .529 3rd time around. That's fairly common around the game. And that's when you start watching real closely, and that's why you get someone up at the bullpen. Staying soft with the changeup. See if Rizzo runs.
He's going, and that is ball 4 to Bryant. Jason Hayward with 2 men on.
Yeah, this is a different Hayward than what we saw earlier in the season, really earlier in the last couple of years. Look on the left, this is early back in April. Watch how he'll move away from his core. You see he starts leaning towards the pitch. Now he's corrected that to be much more rotating around his core. Much more balanced position. Even as the pitch comes in, he starts to swing. Look how he leans into the ball on the left. Now rotating around his core, much better balance. What a difference a DL stint can make. That's the kind of change you make when you have time to make a mechanical change. That's not something you can flip a switch early BP one day. It took being on the DL, put in a lot of work, looking at a lot of video, and boy, has that made a difference. And the same thing really happened with Matt Carpenter to a different degree. Mike Matheny had given him about 3 days off when he was well under 200 early in the season.
He's done his best work with men on base. Certainly confidence always plays a role, and there are some tweaks you can make mechanically that are almost a placebo, but it looked like in Hayward's case, and you pointed it out, there were some mechanical things that he had to change, and he certainly has. So 2 on with 1 out.
before, Len, the way he dove into the baseball made it very hard for him to catch up to velocity in and up. He could get the ball down and away, but now he's covering velocity in each quadrant. If I'm Gann here, I still have to stay soft. My best pitches, start him with a curveball, show him changeups. Jason Hayward has 1 hit this year off a curveball. 1 hit, 1 for 23.
Nothing St. Louis. Action in the Cardinal pen. Gann nurses a 1-0 lead here. 1-1 the count on Hayward. Rizzo and Bryant made him throw 14 pitches combined.
It's hard for a hitter to sit on off speed, but if you just let the fastball travel deep, you're in better position.
Two and one. The other thing for Hayward is strikeout rate, just over 11%. It's about half the league rate. So he is putting the ball in play. Cardinals want to get a ground ball at an infielder here. And it's up in the air out into deep center. And again, the wind's just going to knock it down, and the runners will hold. Ken, the other thing is Jason Hayward has a new hitting coach.
He does, Glenn, but I asked Chili Davis about Hayward yesterday, and he took exactly 0 credit. He said Hayward knows exactly what he wants to do, and they had a little session before the All-Star break. They're working in the batting cage. Hayward is sitting there, he's doing well, he's feeling good. Davis tried to offer a suggestion, and Hayward said, no, I don't need it. And Davis was a little stunned, said, whoa, how do you know what I was going to say? And at that point, Hayward repeated exactly what Davis would have told him. That's how locked in he is right now.
That's a good pupil. He passed the test. Here's Baez with 2 on. And he taps it foul. Chili Davis, 350 career homers, was a switch hitter.
Watching Gant try to work out of this mess here. No fastballs to Hayward. Starts Baez with the breaking ball. I don't think he's going to throw Baez a fastball either. There it was. Out of the zone, but that doesn't bother that man.
Nope.
Target's actually out of the zone. He can hit that, folks.
So far, Baez has seen 7 pitches from Gant, and he has swung at 5 of the 7.
This is fastball percentage, the fewest. No surprise to see Javi Baez 4th on that list.
0-2. Rizzo takes off for 3rd. Pitch is in the dirt, but Will Little said Baez went around, so he's out on a strikeout. And Joe Madden out of the Cubs dugout. And Baez angrily flips the bat and the helmet, and now he's been ejected.
Players can't stand it when the home plate umpire makes the ruling on a swing. Their argument is you're watching the pitch. How can you see the pitch the strike zone and whether the bat made an attempt to hit the ball. And that's what Baez was saying. You should have checked at the first baseman. Joe Madden just got tossed for defending his player.
So he'll get his money's worth now. And we'll sort it out when we come back. It's still 1-0 Cardinals. By Applebee's. Join in the fight to cure childhood cancer at applebee's.com/Alex's Lemonade. Well, 1-0 Cardinals, and the Cubs lose their all-star second baseman Javier Baez. A check swing call. He wanted an appeal to first, and at first Will Little pointed in terms of a fine for tossing the equipment, and then he kicked him out. And then Joe Madden, covering for his player, got the thumb as well.
Borderline call, and I think that's what upset Javi, is that he thought there was no way Will Little could see that himself. The call that should have been made on appeal to the first base umpire.
Young, 1-1 So a little back of the plate. The crew chief is Ted Barrett. He basically separated Little and Madden. Ben Zobrist now playing second base for the Cubs. Yeah, Baez has this thing where he'll check swing and he'll point to first base. So he was actually calling for the appeal, not expecting the home plate umpire to call him out.
And there really is no definitive rule book definition of what is a swing. You hear some people say, well, he broke his wrist or the barrel went beyond the plate. You know, I actually once umpired a spring training game, and I spent a week getting trained by umpires, the ultimate crash course. But they told me, and Ted Barrett standing there at first base.
Russell again. It'll be close. He got it.
As a first base umpire, you're looking down the chalk line, the foul line. And as a rule of thumb, the first base umpire will use that line as a guide. So if you see the barrels cross the airspace of the chalk, you ring up the batter. every base umpire will position himself directly on the foul line. That's for fair foul calls, but it also gives them a view right down that line, and that's their guidepost.
It's foul by Ozuna.
Good shot at third base umpire looking down that line.
Right, and pretty much every time a home plate umpire makes that call, a batter is really upset.
Yeah. You know, I get them being upset for sure. It's a tough thing to see, but if an umpire sees something, he calls something.
Yep. 0-2 on Ozuna. I believe that is Joe Madden's first ejection of the year. Called strike 3 to get Ozuna. Let's go to Mike Hill in our studio for a game break.
All right, fellas, Brewers and Dodgers. Second game for Manny Machado in Dodger blue. 2 for 3 in his debut last night, showing off the glove work today. Great play in the hole to get the out at first. A run will score on the play, making it 2-1 L.A., and that's where...
Mike, thank you. A strike on Tommy Pham. So the Dodgers, after their very slow start, they were 10 under at one point. Got a game-and-a-half lead, and they've got Manny Machado playing shortstop.
In my book, that makes them definitively the team to beat in the National League. Sorry, Cubs fans. I'm not making predictions. I'm just saying right now, the addition of Machado, true impact hitter. There's a little separation. What I like about Machado, Len, we know he's a great player and a great hitter. He hits good pitching.
Yep.
That's what you're going to see in October. I think the impact he's going to make in October will be bigger than we see down the stretch.
Well, pretty much the day it was announced Corey Seager was done for the season, there were rumors, reports that, well, that just means the Dodgers are going to get Machado, and a couple months later it happened.
It's too good of a fit, right? The perfect rental.
And Dave Roberts now has a very good problem where he has too many good position players to start on a nightly basis. But he'll figure it out.
And many of whom can play all over the field, multiple positions. Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor, Cody Bellinger.
Taylor is in center field tonight. And Pham draws the walk. Ken, how did the Machado deal affect the market?
Well, look right here, Len. Remember back in May, mid-May, Addison Russell got off to a poor start. People were saying, oh, the Cubs are going to get Machado. In fact, there was one published report that said he was their main target. Obviously, that changed. Now, as for the rest of the game, it swings the balance of power very notably. And I remember Tom saying in April this was going to happen. The Dodgers were going to get Machado. It affects Arizona. It affects Colorado and San Francisco, obviously because of the same division. But the NL balance of power, as Tom said, the Phillies wanted Machado. The Brewers wanted Machado. They didn't get him. The Dodgers did.
Runner at first, 2 outs. And they've got Clayton Kershaw on the mound tonight. Pitch to Garcia. There's a strike. Well, the Cubs and the Dodgers have matched up in the last 2 championship series in the NL. Cubs won in 6 games 2 years ago. The Dodgers in 5 last year. The one big change in terms of the playoff picture that has been great is the wild card game versus the division winners. Most notably, at least right now in the American League, because if you're the Red Sox and the Yankees, you might win 103 and you might be in a one and done.
Yeah, which forces you to play it out. Last 3 games of the year, Yankees at Boston.
Popped up on the infield. It's Zobrist just into the game, and that'll end it. Middle of the 6th, it's still 1-0 St. Louis. Cardinals will rely on their bullpen the rest of the way. John Gant went 5 shutout innings tonight, and it is veteran right-hander Greg Holland has struggled this season, and Contreras tried to bunt and sent it back to the screen. "32 years old, former closer with Kansas City, 3-time All-Star, including last year he led the National League with 41 saves for the Rockies. It has been a very tough go.
Yeah, you saw that 20 walks, 22 strikeouts, command, especially the slider. His best pitch has been an issue.
He signed on the final day of March after the regular season had already started. 0-2. Every strike call on a Cub hitter the rest of the night will not be greeted warmly from the unpaid umpires.
No,
in the
this
audience.
is a backup slider. It's not meant to be thrown in. And based on the way Pena caught the ball, I don't blame Contreras.
He pops it up. The new first baseman, Matt Carpenter, makes the catch in foul territory. Speaking of Carpenter, time for the Swiffer powerful cleanup hitter. And from the leadoff spot, he is really cleaned up. You see what he did against Cleveland in late June, 5 for 5, 2 homers. Yesterday against the Cubs, the second player with a 3-homer, 2-double performance. The first was Chris Bryant back in 2016.
So he didn't start the game, and he lost 3 at-bats. And Jose Martinez started against the left-hander. He's actually been a reverse split hitter this year. Well, we'll see if Matt Carpenter can stay hot coming off the bench.
He's got a 5-game home run streak on the line. Schwarber takes ball 2. The 7 RBIs for Carpenter on Friday were the most ever by a St. Louis Cardinal in this ballpark. That is saying something. He's the second Cardinal to have a 3-homer game against the Cubs. Albert Pujols did it twice. And I think the other, maybe most amazing part of the whole story, Tom, is that he did it in 6 innings and then came out of the game because it was a blowout.
Might have faced one of those position players on the mound for the Cubs if he stayed in.
That decision was made for Twitter, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, he doesn't even bother with singles anymore. 11 straight extra base hits, tying Mark McGwire's franchise record. As Joe Madden told us, he's as locked in as you will ever see a hitter. The ball just looks big and slow to Matt Carpenter right now.
Meantime, this is a 1-swing ball game. And Schwarber draws the walk.
Well, you know, the way Holland's gone this year, there's at least 1 walk in him. Cardinals are hoping that's it.
Almora 0 for 1 with a walk. Holland spent some time on the DL with a right hip impingement. Carpenter holds on the runner and the pitch. Low for ball 1. That's left-hander Randy Rosario up in the Cubs bullpen. Look out, that ball rocketed just over the Cardinal dugout.
Now, Gant has thrown up in the 90s for pitch counts this year. Yeah, this is his first start since July 6th. Just going to assume that by checking with him and all the pitches he had to make with runners on base, they saw the tank getting down on E.
He only gave up 4 hits through 82 pitches tonight. Cubs have gotten them on tonight. They just haven't really gotten them over, and certainly not in. Balls, 2 strikes to Almora.
This is where Albert with 2 strikes is almost like a left-handed hitter. It can take advantage of that hole on the right side. He loves to shoot the ball that way with 2 strikes.
Two-two, line shot, base hit, center field.
Holland's always been a guy who will spin off the side of the mound. A little surprised here at 2-2. He goes with his 3rd best pitch, the curveball, overhand curve. And you can see that's just a hanger, high level. Hitter's not going to miss that one. Best pitch, slider. 2nd best pitch, fastball. 3rd best pitch, curveball. Curious choice right there, 2-2.
Russell 0 for 2. And a bouncer to the shortstop, DeYoung, and it gets under his glove, and the bases are loaded. The Cardinals had a 3-error night on Thursday as the Cubs came from behind. That might not have been 2, but it should have been 1 at least.
Classic case of not looking the ball into the glove. You're right, it might not have been 2, but he's rushing to try to get 2, and that's what cost him 1. Watch his eyes as the ball gets close to the glove. Doesn't see it all the way in. has to be made. Simple as that. A rough series for DeYoung.
He committed 2 of those errors on Thursday. So bases loaded. 1 out. Visit by Mike Maddox. Holland will face pinch hitter Tommy LaStella, who leads the majors with 14 pinch hits. The Cardinals with their major league high 82nd error. Ball 1 to LaStella.
So good in these spots because he doesn't try to do too much. Good plate discipline.
That gets away. Schwarber is going to hold as Almora got about halfway to third before he hit the brakes.
Yeah, Almora had a better read than Schwarber. Stella was waving Kyle on home. He said, can't see it, didn't see it. Knows it's the ball he could have scored on, but let's see. And I think as the ball went behind LaStella, he couldn't see how far it went behind him. Here's Almora. He had a really good look at it. Obviously not blocked out by the hitter.
Collins 2-0, missed again. One out walk, a single, and an error, and now 3-0 on Tommy LaStella. He walked it, and we're tied at 1. Boy, a 3-0 pitch that bounced in front of home plate.
A non-competitive pitch. Really nothing in that entire sequence was really even close to being a strike. A little bit of the Cardinals' 28th season in a nutshell. Defensive lapse, Holland's inability to throw strikes.
Mike Schilt will make a move and a double switch. Tied at 1. Cubs still threatening in the 6th. fireballing right-hander Jordan Hicks. The base is loaded, facing a red-hot Anthony Rizzo.
Well, you're about to see a sinker at 100 miles an hour. I'm not sure you're going to see that anybody else in baseball. Not a four-seamer, a sinker.
Rizzo with a ground ball. Diving stop. Throw to second. Everybody's safe, and the Cubs have the lead. Two to one. Assuming it's a hit, it's the fourth for Rizzo.
Yeah, it's got to be a hit. Rizzo was ready for the fastball, and with the infield at double play depth, you're going to compromise some range. So DeYoung gets there to stop it, but not enough time to get Stella at second base.
Base is still loaded. The pitch to Bryant. Outside. 101 on the fastball. Cubs could not dent John Gant in the first 5 innings, but they've gotten to the Cardinals bullpen here in the 6th. Ball 2.
That pitch really handcuffed Pena. The difficulty of catching 100. Running in on your thumbs.
Hit very hard, and the throw goes to second as Munoz took a look at first, then got the out at second as they force Rizzo. Russell scores. It's 3-1. Well, the paradox of baseball, that ball's hit harder, it's a double play.
Yeah, I mean, 7 batters in this inning, 3 runs in. 1 ball has left the infield in this entire sequence. Right, Glenn, that was fortunate to miss-hit the baseball and not hit it any harder.
First and third, it's Jason Hayward in a 3-1 ball game. A critical error in this inning by Paul DeYoung. The bases loaded walk. Infield hit, fielder's choice. To make it 3-1 Cubs.
Wow, it's another one of those tough sinkers to catch. Tough to hit, tough to catch. Watch Pena, watch the glove start to flip around on his thumb. Wow. Lucky, no advancement.
Couple of bounces to DeYoung. He will field, throw, and get Hayward. But the Cubs do a bunch of damage. And they turn a 1-0 deficit into a 3-1 lead. And the Cardinals' fielding issues pop up again. nice job out of the Cubs bullpen. It has been a big strength of this first place club. Takes over here in the 7th inning. 3-1 Cubs. 3 unearned runs. Charge to Greg Holland in the 6th inning. Strike called on Munoz.
Rosario's done a nice job for the Cubs. Excellent slider. With 4-seam and 2-seam fastballs.
On the ground to the left side. It's Russell to Rizzo for the out.
And that was the occasional changeup he'll mix in there.
Well, you said it. So many games get decided in the middle innings these days. 5th, 6th, 7th.
I think Mike Schilt is understanding what life in the big leagues is like as a manager. He talked about the spotlight. No matter how this game turns out, we'll be asked why Holland in that spot. Yet pitched terrifically for 5 innings, a 1-0 game. And we handed that guy to a guy who's been, let's face it, unreliable, especially when it comes to throwing strikes. The fire began with a walk.
Pena with a comebacker to the left-hander. Time now for the Gatorade Proven Performance. Matt Carpenter already in this series. 7 for 12, 5 home runs, 2 doubles, 9 knocked in, 6 runs scored. He was hitting a $140 in mid-May. Since then, he's played like an MVP.
Yeah, he's one of the extreme fly ball hitters in the big leagues, and lately they've been going out. He has not been missing. Especially fastballs. Anything near the zone fastballs he's been hammering.
And lefty righty, it hasn't really mattered. He's hit both. One thing he hadn't done prior to this year, first 3 seasons Joe Maddon managed the Cubs, he batted .151 against Cubs pitching in 58 games. This year, .325 with 7 home runs. And I was mentioning 140 on May 15th. 346 since.
That's when he had a couple of days off, and he told me it was like a mini all-star break. He didn't change anything mechanically.
High deep drive out into right center, and it is gone. He's done it again, and he has tied the club record. A 6-game home run streak for Matt Carpenter. He's Superman.
Unbelievable. Folks, you will rarely, if ever, see a hitter hotter than this. I'm telling you, he's not even hitting foul balls. When he swings, it is squared up.
That'll be it for Rosario. Brandon Hyde, the Cubs bench coach and the acting manager after Joe Maddon got ejected, will make a change. 3-2 in the 7th. game. It's 3-2, and here's Pedro Strop. Cubs without Brandon Morrow, their closer, on the disabled list with a biceps issue. So Joe Madden mixing and matching late in games currently. 1-0 on Harrison Bader. The outside corner.
Neither rain nor snow nor wind nor gloom of night stops Matt Carpenter. Hit that through the wind.
A very light mist.
And it threw a mist. Wow. Mention anything fastball near the zone. He has absolutely been hammering. That's 8 home runs in his last 6 games. 7 of them have been on fastballs.
3 have been leadoff homers to start a game. 3 came in one game on Friday. And Bader draws the walk. And it will bring up Colton Wong for the first time.
Second baseman, number 16, Colton Wong.
And the stretch started just before the All-Star break. Leadoff homers in the final 2 games against Cincinnati last weekend.
12 straight extra base hits. That's a Cardinals record. Knocking Big Mac, Mark McGwire, out of the books.
1 strike on the left-handed hitting Colton Wong. Remember, Javier Baez ejected from this game in the bottom of the 5th, along with Joe Madden. Both teams into their bullpen. Starter Gant went 5 for St. Louis. Montgomery went 6 for the Cubs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. But it is now a 1-run game because of Matt Carpenter. Superhuman Matt Carpenter makes it 3-2 as we stretch in Chicago. Jordan Hicks, breaking ball inside on Ben Zobrist, his first plate appearance since entering for the ejected Javier Baez. 3-2 Cubs, 7th inning. Zobrist had a huge day earlier in game 1. 4 for 4 plus a walk, scored twice, and the Cubs 7-2 win.
That was just filthy. Comeback two-seamer at 101. This guy handles velocity as well as anybody.
I mentioned Mark McGwire homered in 6 straight. That was over 2 seasons, so Carpenter technically the first Cardinal to hit homers in 6 straight games in a single season. And a ground ball to Wong. Will feed Carpenter for the out. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by IBM. Let's put smart to work. Carpenter with the most home runs, 6 in a series in this ballpark. Started hosting Major League Baseball in 1916.
The series ain't over yet.
It's not.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to Joe Madden before the game about Matt. And I said, is he that hot? Will there be circumstances where you would walk him, bases empty, or even with first base occupied? He said, absolutely. And that was not a scenario because the Cubs were holding a 2-run lead that could tie the game. But I guarantee you, if he gets another AB, Brandon Hyde running the game right now, you got to think about not pitching to him at all in a 1-run game.
Two and 2 on Contreras. One other Cardinal hit 6 homers in a series. Jim Bottomley hit 7 in a series against the Phillies in 1929. Well, we are going in the way back machine to find
Jim Bottomley.
something similar to what Matt Carpenter has done. They do give out a player of the week, right?
Clinched.
After the break?
Clinched. I think he had that in 1 game. Joined Chris Bryant as the only ones with 3 home runs and 2 doubles in 1 game. That was a good week right there.
Contreras draws the walk. Let's go to Mike Hill in the studio for another game break. Mike, thank you. The Cubs have the best mark in the National League, but the top 4 records are over in the American League.
Houston is scary good. Their run differential is just crazy.
One out base runner. Schwarber with a bullet out to left, but he hit it right at Ozuna. The Cardinals return to St. Louis Friday to host the Cubs and Rockies on a 7-game homestand. Visit Cardinals.com now to see Carpenter, Martinez, and Molina in action at Busch Stadium. Back to the American League, the Seattle Mariners have the longest playoff drought in baseball, I think, among all 4 major sports. Right now they're looking at the one-and-done wild card we mentioned earlier. They probably have to play on the road.
That's right. as you mentioned, when you've got the longest drought in pro sports when it comes to postseasons, I think they'd sign up right now for that game.
2001, last time they made it. How do you figure this game? All the rockets the Cubs have hit have been for outs. Everything else,
the soft ones have been
yeah,
hits. The help of walks and an error, they've cashed in.
Mora swings and misses 1-2. Actually, probably the best hit ball of the night. As early in the ball game, a ball that got knocked down by the wind. Harrison Bader thought he had a 3-run homer. And I think everybody in the ballpark thought so too. It ended up being the third out. Mora just got a piece of it.
Hicks is just a special arm out there. I mean, the velocity is obvious. The movement is spectacular. And that breaking ball, that hard slider is good enough to keep you honest. That's what Almora's up against here. You saw him chase the one slider in the dirt. You have to gear up for 103. It's hard to stop the barrel if you read slider late.
Hicks just 21. His 45th appearance. Pitches low. Contreras takes off. And he is safe. Somehow he got in.
They pulled a Baez at second base. A little matrix slide. And Wong was late getting over there. This might have been a slight delay steal by Contreras. Let's see. Yep. Usually you'll take 3 hop steps on a delay steal. And Wong was so late there, you see him get turned around. He looks for him. He's not there yet. I think he might have got him.
I'm surprised.
That's where dropped the ball.
He dropped it, but did he drop it after he had already made the initial tag? That's the question. 2-2.
So why not challenge?
Yeah, I agree.
Penalty, right, for challenging. Not like you're going to lose 15 yards or a timeout.
Right.
Let's see. Ball's in the glove. He's got control.
Whoa, yeah.
That's worth a challenge.
Yeah.
I do not let that go unchallenged.
Yeah, that looked like an out. Right there, he still has the ball, and then the arm comes down.
That's a huge run out there. Sorry, Len. I mean, again, you might not get the call because the original call was safe. You'd have to have conclusive evidence to overturn it. That's 2 words. Why not?
Yep. Losing your challenge at this point, as you said, doesn't matter. Once you get to the 8th, you can request a crew chief challenge as Hicks strikes out Almora. And we head off to the 8th inning, 3-2 Cubs. game summary, 3-2 Cubs, 8th inning. Matt Carpenter did not start this game, but his first plate appearance in the 7th, he homered for the 6th consecutive game. That's a Cardinal single-season record. 4 singles for Anthony Rizzo. Baez and Madden, Cubs second baseman and manager, ejected in the 5th inning. And the starting pitcher is long gone. DeYoung. This is one to Strop. He'll take it unassisted for the out.
I don't know about you, Led, but not necessarily counting outs, but counting spots in the lineup to Matt Carpenter. And that means the Cardinals will have to get at least one runner on base here. His 7th when this inning began, and Strop decides to take it himself and do a little bit of an inventory on the body parts after this. Everything okay? Yeah, he's fine. But yeah, I mean, Carpenter's so hot, you do think about that. Even running in the opposing dugout. Almost like back in the day, Lawrence Taylor playing linebacker for the Giants. You had to account for him on every snap. Where is he? Where is that guy? When is that guy coming up, Matt Carpenter?
Typically, as we said earlier, it would be Brandon Morrow in the 9th with a 1 or 2 or 3 run lead. But if that's the case tonight, Joe Madden will have to use somebody else because Morrow is on the DL, and you might have one pitcher in mind to face Matt Carpenter. I don't know who that guy is right now.
Koufax?
We'll find out. 1-1. Ozuna taps foul. Ken, what are the Cubs looking for? Bullpen help? They got Jesse Chavez, but might they ask for more?
They would love another reliever, and Zach Britton, a left-hander, is one of their principal targets. They could go either way, starter or reliever or both. Their biggest problem, Len, you know this from watching this team every day, their starters don't go deep enough into games. 22nd in the majors in innings per start. It will help if their starters start going deeper, like Hendricks and Quintana, Chatwood. We saw a better performance out of him in game 1. But if they get Darvish back, if they get Drew Smyly in September, they can think about those things and then focus on the bullpen right now. Britton would be perfect because Morrow is a guy that was worked awfully hard last year. And while his injury now is not expected to be serious, to have another late inning option would be a very beneficial thing.
Yeah, Drew Smyly coming back from Tommy John surgery. And we'll throw a simulated game tomorrow. And really no timetable right now on Yu Darvish.
Yeah, Kenny made a really good point about the length in the rotation. They're on pace to tie a franchise record low of only 70 starts, less than half the starts of 6 innings or less. Back to the '83 Cubs, a 91 loss team that did that. Worry about the toll on the bullpen.
Bullpen's been really good. That guy, a 5-time All-Star, had a rough one yesterday, but at one point had won 8 in a row. He will lean heavily on John Lester in the second half. Stropes 2-2 in the air to left. It's deep. Schwarber on the track. Wind helping him, and he makes the grab. The wind has not let up.
Yeah, you're right. This wind totally knocked this ball down. I'm not sure it was going to get out, but it certainly was held up. It was hit so high. And he knew right away on this night that wasn't getting out.
Base hit for Pham. Came on for the second time. And here comes Yadier Molina. That's for Hicks.
Always always have to be careful the first pitch against Yadi Molina. Notorious first ball hitter. I'm going to go in with the fastball here. A little surprising.
Low and in.
As we said, Len, pretty good bench tonight for the Cardinals.
Yep.
Carpenter comes in on a double switch, homers. Now Molina in representing the go-ahead run.
Ted Barrett said he went. And it's 1-1 on the 9-time All-Star. 9 of the last 10 seasons.
That's an easy call for Ted Barrett. It's a nice stop by Contreras. You can tell he's got infielder's hands. Keeping the tying run out of scoring position.
Again, Contreras knocks it down. And it's 3-1.
I'm going to go out and talk about this next pitch. The next two pitches here, a sequence of Molina. That's, to me, Glenn, that's a pump him up confidence meeting here. Actually, we're going to make a move. Brandon Hyde's already signaled to the bullpen. Oh, no, sorry.
They're going to check on something physical here.
He signaled to check on. Could go back to that play at first base where Strop was over there covering. Looked like he was favoring something in the lower half. Again, says he's okay.
Brandon Hyde with one of the Cubs athletic trainers, Nick Frangella. The play you were talking about.
I was going to say, I think Contreras is just pumping him up here. Trust your stuff here. You don't want to walk in this situation. Push the runner to second. Oh, I think this is about a mound visit here.
Well, Rizzo and Contreras went out first, and then Brandon Hyde came out with his athletic trainer. So I think what Will Little is saying, we're counting the first part as a visit. And the second part not an official coach's visit, right? That's probably.
I think that's what the discrepancy was.
Those are two different things. You get 6 visits to talk strategy and not take out a pitcher. And the Cubs have 3 remaining. Ooh. It was close.
A little flat-footed. Does he get back in time? Barely.
Brandon Hyde was asking for the challenge, so they'll go to replay review, and this again might just be one of those why not.
He's from the why not school. And I saw him safe on the way back, but you're exactly right, Len.
Now, you don't get any bonus points for having mound visits left on the table or challenges at the end of a game.
See, he was a little flat-footed, jumps back to the back of the bag.
Sam was picked off by Kyle Hendricks on Thursday night.
It's a great shot. That call should stand.
Strop will take some warm-up tosses while the umpires get word from New York. And Pham was in fact safe.
Yeah, it's been a while since he threw his last competitive pitch. Strop. Mound visit, check with the trainer, and a replay challenge.
Meanwhile, a favorable count for Molina, 3-1. That's Jairo Munoz on deck, and ball 4 to Molina. So their tying run now is in scoring position. And a guy with some good wheels in Tommy Pham. And here comes the Cubs pitching coach Jim Hickey. The MLB At Bat mobile app brings every baseball moment to your favorite devices. Catch it all season with the free MLB.tv Game of the Day, live radio broadcasts, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
A lot of conferences going on. Quorum on the mound, and Oquendo, the third base coach, came in to talk to Munoz about this, AB. He'll be ready to hit first pitch. The Cardinals are looking like they want to run from Molina here.
This is not a mound visit, assuming Rizzo doesn't confer with Stroke. Just cleaning up the spikes. That's Jack Flaherty, who will run for Molina.
I think you have to go put his spikes on. Yeah, get loose in a hurry. Didn't see that one coming.
Flaherty was the winning pitcher on Friday. With 5 innings, allowed 1 run. Munoz takes outside, ball 1.
Flaherty's still tying his shoes over there, I think, at first base. It's always dicey for a third base coach when you've got a pitcher out there on the bases. In this case, representing the go-ahead run.
Ground ball toward right. It is through. Pham will score, and we're tied at 3. The Cardinals rally with 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
Strop had shown a lot of respect to Molina to push the tying run into scoring position with 2 outs, and Munoz cashes in. He's saying, I'm not an out behind Molina. Goes up out of the zone to get that one.
Just eluding Ben Zobrist. So a 3-3 tie, and it's the catcher Pena, and he takes a strike. So now Flaherty representing the go-ahead run at second base.
That's what I mean. It's a tough call for the third base coach sending a pitcher. 2 outs. Generally, you've got the green light. You're going to send the runner. Outfield is deep.
Swing and a miss. Pitch gets away from Contreras, and he'll fire to Rizzo for the out. But the Cardinals have tied it up. Jairo Munoz with the big hit, and Anthony Rizzo has a shot at a 5-hit game when we come back. 3-3. Verizon. Now go mix and match family unlimited plans. And by Wells Fargo, established 1852, reestablished 2018. Got a 3-3 tie, bottom of the 8th. Game 4 of a 5-game series here at Wrigley Field, and game 2 of a day-night doubleheader. And it is Sam Tuivailala now pitching for the Cardinals against Addison Russell. 30th appearance for the right-hander, working from the stretch. And the first pitch strike.
Yeah, I've always liked his stuff. I think he's growing into higher leverage roles. 2 really good breaking balls. You saw the slider there, the curveball as well. Mid-90s velocity.
On the ground to Wong at second. For the first out. We'll bring up Ian Happ off the bench, hitting for Stroh.
This is the part of the movie, Len, when the pitchers start putting on their spikes. After Happ, all that's left on the Cubs bench, back at catcher, Caratini.
You could see it is raining, not very hard. And ball 1. Well, you don't need to ask Joe Madden to get creative. He'll put pitchers in the outfield if he has to.
The MacGyver of managers.
Yes.
Are you implying he still has something to do about decisions in this game?
Oh yeah, I forgot. He got kicked out.
Well,
no, I'll tell you, Joe has told us that when he's ejected, he leaves it up
hands off
to the acting manager. It had been Dave Martinez for many years. Now Brandon Hyde here in 2018. If Mike Schultz gets ejected, or when he does, and at some point he will, because you're not really in the fraternity until you get the thumb. I guess the Cardinals will use Jose Oquendo to manage, and they'll leave Ron Pop Warner in his bench coach spot. So they'll move things around on their coaching staff. Not that it's your goal to get kicked out, but you know what I mean.
It's an eventuality.
Yeah. The Cardinals' third base coach. Secret weapon. 3-2 on Happ. He walks a lot. Tuivailala would rather not face Anthony Rizzo with anybody on base.
Absolutely. Let's see if he throws slider here. We talked about this, Len. Fastball counts. If you see a challenge pitch, he will go fastball here. He's a good fastball hitter.
Ball 4.
Well, how about Ricky Rizzo? I call him Ricky because, well, this week he's the best leadoff hitter in baseball. He's just been an on-base machine at the top of the lineup. His 7th game there. Joe Madden said, I need to get you going, big guy. You're my leadoff guy. And he has taken to it.
Already his first 4-hit game here in his home ballpark since April of 2014. Has never had a 5-hit game. Carpenter holds on Happ at first. The pitch. Rizzo in the air the other way. Ozuna with an easy play. And they retire Rizzo for the first time. Bryant Missed 16 games earlier due to a left shoulder injury. Takes ball one.
He's yet to hit the ball out the other way this year. It's really amazing. You watched him in college, that was kind of his default swing, going out the other way. Certainly had a ton last year. He told me he's getting pitched inside a lot. I'm assuming Tui Vailoa will stay away in this sequence. Most pitchers close and late, they might show you in, but they don't want to get you out in. Safe way is away.
Cardinals trying to give themselves a chance to take 3 out of 5 this weekend. Cubs have won 2 of the first 3. 1-2.
Yeah, that's the swing there. I've not seen Chris dial that swing in. That's the pitch that typically in the past he would take out to the alley in right center field. That fastball away. A little tardy on that one. And underneath. See if he goes a little higher right here.
To left, Ozuna will leave his feet, and he's got it. Marcell Ozuna with a couple of big catches tonight. That probably gives the Cubs the lead, as Happ with 2 outs would have scored had that ball gotten by him. But we remain tied at 3. And guess who leads off the 9th? Yep, we're back in a minute. On the game of catch, and this is must-see television right now. Justin Wilson against Matt Carpenter, 3-3 tie, 9th inning. I said it earlier, lefty-righty doesn't matter. Carpenter batting .339 against southpaws since May 16th. 19 for 56 with 8 home runs.
Well, I started the night asking Joe Madden if there's a situation where you would walk this guy with nobody on base. They said yes. Now, it's a tie game here. This may turn out to be an intentional walk. It's hard to get Matt Carpenter to chase a pitch out of the strike zone, and to challenge him right now would be a mistake.
3-0.
2 for 13 against Justin Wilson, but we saw the matchup earlier today, a ball that we thought was going to be out.
Yeah, and the batter-pitcher matchups, you feel like you can throw out the window during a stretch like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, he's got the green light if he wants. Not even close.
There's ball 4. Ken with more on Matt Carpenter.
Guys, we've heard a lot lately about how analytics have hurt the game, or at least changed the game. Carpenter is a classic example of a player who was helped by analytics. When he was struggling, the Cardinals front office came to him and said, listen, all of the other numbers look good. Exit velocity, launch angle, hard hit percentage. His batting average on balls in play, it was extremely low. That reflected poor luck. He listened, and he stayed with the process, and look what happened. He erupted. And go back to that batting average on balls in play. Before May 15th, the line of demarcation, it was just 178. Since then, entering today, 375. Things even out.
Yeah, they do. And the irony is, the balls he's deposited in the bleachers are not considered in play.
It's a statement of fact. Joe Madden also told us that basically his book, figuratively and literally, on Mike Matheny, you can throw out. Just trying to learn the tendencies of the new manager, Mike Schultz. Bader showing bunt, first pitch.
It's a strike. It's 1-1. By the way, that patch on the left sleeve of the Cardinals, they're wearing the rest of the year in honor of the late Hall of Famer Red Schoendienst. Home number 2, passed away earlier. He was a fixture at Busch Stadium. Inside 2-1.
One of the finest gentlemen in baseball.
Played for and managed the Cardinals. Everybody knows Mr. Cub, the late Ernie Banks. If there were a Mr. Cardinal, would have been red.
One more bunt, swinging here on a fastball count.
3-1 on Bader. So Wilson walked Carpenter on 4. He's behind Bader here with Wong on deck.
Now here I'd have him take a pitch. Wilson's having trouble with the zone, young hitter.
Two.
That's a good take. It's a borderline strike. I would not start Carpenter at first base here.
Not going, and there is ball 4. So the Cardinals have 2 on with nobody out and haven't had to swing the bat here in the 9th.
Well, bunt situation here with Wong. Based off that pitch breakdown from Wilson. He's going to be out of the game. Brandon Hyde needs somebody to throw a strike.
So Brandon Hyde will make the change. Steve Cishek when we come back. G7 pitcher profile. The starters tonight. Gant only went 5, but he didn't give up a run. Montgomery went 6, allowed 1, so the starters were good. And a lot has happened since they left. Here's Steve Cishek.
Here's Anthony Rizzo, the first baseman, playing Williamsport defense, expecting the bunt. Now he's going to drop back a little.
Brown gets knocked down on that pitch. I was just going to say, Tom, before Brandon Hyde pulled Justin Wilson, I wonder if the Cardinals might have, taken a couple pitches and not tried to give the Cubs an out because he had walked 2. It changes a little with a new pitcher.
Yeah, it does. Cishek, ground ball pitcher. Bunt and play here. Wong does have 5 sacrifice hits on the season.
There's the bunt. Rizzo will field it. His throw to third is in time. He's as aggressive as any first baseman in making that play.
Shades of the great Keith Hernandez. There was nobody better at first base, fielding bunts on the other side of the infield to get the force at third base. Rizzo's timing on this was spectacular. Watch him moving as the ball is bunted. Ball's on the other side of the infield, third base side of the mound, and he makes this play look easy. Good defense, and ideally you'd push it harder towards third.
Well, those who believe the game discriminates against lefties, it does at a lot of positions, but on the pitcher's mound and at first base, it does not. There's a much tougher play for a right-handed thrower to make. Going in, 2-0 on DeYoung. Cishek working both ends of the doubleheader. Faced 2 batters in game 1. Gave up a sac fly to Yadier Molina, and then he got DeYoung on a ground out. That was in the 7th inning of the opener. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
A little bit of elevation right there from Cishek. His game, as you mentioned, is getting ground balls. A hard 2-seamer running in on the right-handed hitter.
you said it. He is the rare side armor who does occasionally elevate. If there's such a thing as a super utility reliever, it is Steve Cishek. He can pitch in any spot and give you multiple innings if needed. Still 2-2. Go ahead run at second base. That's Bader. Cardinals have not led since the 6th inning. They were up 1-0 and gave up 3 in the 6th. 2 of those 3 runs were unearned. And DeYoung pulls it to left. That is a fair ball. DeYoung, who committed the error in the 6th, is going to knock in at least 1 as Wong will head back to third, and the Cardinals have the lead here in the 9th. So DeYoung had a shot at redemption, and he comes through.
Yeah, what a night. We'll take you back to this really inexcusable error. Just the lapse here by DeYoung opens up the door for a 3-run inning, and now thank you for that slider left over in the middle of the plate. Down, yes, but way too much of the plate. It stays on balance. He's talking to it. Get down. And down it did in fair territory.
Cubs will bring the infield in now that they trail 2nd and 3rd, and Ozuna takes a strike. The 0-1. 1-1.
Well, walks have been the invitation to trouble throughout this game, and Justin Wilson started this fire with 2 walks to start the inning. Closer Bud Norris up. Cardinals.
So 15 hits combined. There have been 2 extra base hits. The Carpenter home run in the 7th, and that double by DeYoung. That's been it. A lot of slugging tonight with the wind blowing in.
Not a lot of strike throwing. Easy. Needed way too many walks. Maybe another one right there after falling behind Ozuna.
So that will officially be an intentional walk. So the bases are now loaded for Tommy Pham.
The right move by Brandon Hyde. You fall behind a good hitter rather than pitch with the infield in. Now you put the infield back. The ground ball pitcher on the mound, hoping he's got a double play ball in his pocket against Pham.
Swing and a miss, strike 1. Wide Contreras showing off his catcher's range.
That was almost the meeting on the mound. He ran so far out there. Cishek threw a great slider for the first strike, and watch, he's going to try to throw an even better one. Contreras gets his running in right there.
Cardinals got 1 in the 7th on the homer by Carpenter. 1 in the 8th. 2 out around that time, and a drive to right, slicing, and it's going to get down, and it's probably going to clear the bases. Wong and DeYoung score. Ozuna held at third. It is a 2-run double, and it's a 3-run Cardinal lead.
Cishek came back with the 2-seam sinker, looking for that double play ball. And Pham just beat him to it. Beat him to the spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, pinch hitting for the Cardinals, number
Away, hit it that way. That's a great example. Watch his head stay on the baseball.
Brandon Hyde will make another move as Dexter Fowler is announced. Another pitching change. The Cardinals with 3 big ones here in the ninth. They're still batting. Follow Baker Mayfield as the #1 overall pick navigates his way through the world of the NFL. All the way up, Baker Mayfield Part 1 premieres Sunday, July 29th at 3 Eastern on Fox, or stream it on the Fox Sports app. Rookie right-hander Dylan Maples will make just his 9th Major League appearance. And he'll face former Cub Dexter Fowler. Still only 1 out, 2nd and 3rd. The pitch is wide for ball 1.
And with the infield in once again.
Fowler not in the lineup tonight, but had started every game of this series previously. One and two. Talking walks, the Cubs have walked more batters than any staff in the big leagues. That is something they'd like to remedy.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, we talked about Matt Carpenter not starting this game, and he's had a huge impact on this game. Not just the home run, but that walk.
That set everything up here in the 9th.
It really did. Your leadoff batter in the 9th inning. We talked about this. Wilson's out there. He's not going to challenge him. You're defending the home run. That's how hot that Matt Carpenter is. So you start the inning with a leadoff walk in a tie game. Carpenter's teammates took it from there.
Runners stay put. So Ozuna at 3rd and Pham at 2nd. 3-run ninth for the Cardinals. Cubs using their third relief pitcher here in this inning. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Fowler's struggles continue, and it'll bring up Munoz.
Baseman, Munoz.
By the way, Bud Norris, he's been on the bullpen mound for about a half hour.
Think he's ready?
I would hope he's ready. Second year the bullpens have been under the bleachers here at Wrigley Field. Pretty drastic change. They used to be out in the wide open. It's funny too. Initially, a lot of the Cub relievers, they missed being on the field because they had a lot of friends, season ticket holders, who sat near the Cubs bullpen.
Visitors?
But I think the visitors,
Not so much.
they're okay with this. Yeah.
I like the fact they work on their dance skills so well out there in those pens. Some impressive footwork.
3-0 on Munoz.
See how much Maples likes that cutter. Threw a 2-0 and missed.
He's got a lane changer.
3-0.
That pitch really turned around his minor league career. He had thought about hanging it up.
No doubt. You'll see it. He'll use that pitch more than the fastball. He works off of that.
Munoz didn't mean to. And now it's 3-2.
Might as well throw another one, right, Len? Throw him 5.
Yep.
Make it a half dozen to go.
There's a lot of incentive to get out of this inning fairly soon. Pena on deck, and then Matt Carpenter.
The Bambino.
Swing and a miss. So Maples comes back, strikes out Munoz. The whole thing started with a Matt Carpenter walk. Paul DeYoung, who committed a crucial error earlier, giving the Cardinals the lead. It's now 3 runs going to the bottom of the ninth. For $82.99, watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. But Norris trying to notch save number 18.
He came out here to the mound and immediately went to Ted Barrett. I think he's looking for the cleat cleaner. There we go.
Gonna get a new one.
You got one for him. That one's no good. Give me a new one. That needs to be cleaned.
Ken Rosenthal, while we have a second, I'd like to ask you this. The Dodgers lost tonight, by the way. The Brewers ended their 7-game losing streak. You mentioned Milwaukee was in on Manny Machado. What do the Brewers do as they try to catch the Cubs in the NL Central?
They have a lot of things that they're looking at, Len. Obviously, as you said, they were in on Machado. Their next target in the infield could be Brian Dozier. They definitely are interested in him. They also have pitching needs, and it could be a starter, could be a reliever. I expect them to be active. Remember, last July, they were not active. They got beat out for Quintana and Sonny Gray. So they know that they have a rare opportunity here, and I know they're going to do something. I just don't know what it is.
They have a young general manager who's done a great job. They have some pieces they can trade, so it's a question of how much you want to go for it here in 2018.
They do, and I think Kenny's right. After last year when they sort of stood pat, I think a trade would put a jolt through that clubhouse.
So here we go. Norris against Hayward, and he bounces foul. So with Milwaukee winning, they're back to within 3 in the division. Martinez is having some fun. Ball 1-1-1. The other interesting thing about this trade deadline is that if you acquire a player or if you don't, you either in some cases take the guy your competitor wanted or they get him and you don't.
Balance of power can swing.
That's why Joe Madden said when we heard about the Machado deal, I'm glad he's not in our division. Two and one. So then maybe you give up just a little bit more if you can steal a guy away from the team you're battling in your own division.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
Norris having a little conference with himself right here. He's got that great cutter, but it's been fastball so far to Hayward.
Step and the pitch is grounded into right. Hayward with his first hit tonight.
That's that better swing we talked about from Hayward. Better balance, spinning around his core. He can be more aggressive holding 3 as Norris is, staying away from cutter slider. It's almost as if you're spinning around a pole. Your core stays solid. Look at the balance. Head over the torso instead of leaning out front. That's why he's hitting well over 300 on heaters this year.
Zobrist 0 for 1 since entering the game where Javier Baez was ejected.
Zobrist just 3 out of 23 against Norris. One of those hits, though, a home run.
Back to the 5th inning. Baez on a check swing. was called out quickly by Will Little, the home plate umpire. Baez thought he should have asked Ted Barrett at first. Tossed his helmet and his bat and got kicked out. And then Joe Madden, protecting his player, also got the heave-ho. First time in Baez's career he's been ejected. Popped up, shallow left. DeYoung, the shortstop, taking charge, and he's got it. On a windy night like this, Tom, you need somebody to say, I got it, get out of the way.
Even that ball as a pop-up, that came back towards the infield.
Always a special place for Paul DeYoung, the Illinois native, play here at Wrigley Field. And now it's Contreras. Been on 3 times, 2 walks, a single. And a ground ball back to the pitcher. Norris to Wong. And the Cardinals come from behind late and beat the Cubs 6-3 to set up a rubber match in Game 5 of this weekend series tomorrow.
That's a big win for the Cardinals. You're down 3-1 on the road at Wrigley, and you score in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings to win it. Wow. That may be one of those games, clip and save it. Things start to turn around for the Cardinals. That's the kind of a game you can point to.
A lot of storylines tonight. Matt Carpenter, the biggest 6 consecutive games with a home run as he helps the Cardinals come back and beat the Cubs. 6-3 the final, and we'll wrap things up from Chicago right after these messages.